Vanakkam brothers and sisters. Welcome to Indian Catholic Ministry YouTube channel. Today, 24th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Today we are going to reflect on one of Jesus's parables, the unforgiving, the unmerciful servant. Today's gospel reading is from Matthew chapter 18 verses 21 through 35. In India, in our home, when I was growing up, we used to have a lot of pet animals. We didn't have much space in our home. We just had little space in front of our house and to the side, and plenty of space in our top floor. So what happened? My parents, they spent the time and energy and made use of those little space, and we had so much of pet animals, different kind of pet animals. Though we live in a city, it's hard to maintain it, but still my parents made sure that we have that environment. So we had pet animals like dogs, chickens, roosters, rabbits, and birds like lovebirds. Lovebirds, actually, they even started with like 8 or 9 only, and then they multiply. Even at one stage we had more than 100 lovebirds. So we were like keep on bringing the size of the cage was keep on increasing. So we had made sure that all the animals and the birds are treated respectfully and were fed well, and it was so much of joy and responsibility to having those animals. And there was a time period in my life I lost two most important person in my life, and that in a very short period. So like that moment was so hard, and in that time period I got a new pet animal, a pet bird, parrot. Her name is Shakti. So I received her, and that was the first time we were having the bird inside our home. So long like we will keep it, make sure outside somewhere or in the top floor, but not inside the home, to be inside the house in our daily activities part of it. And she's so beautiful with the green feathers, long tail, really red, nice red beak. So she's so very attractive on her own way. And what happened is, like, she'll have her own bowl of water, bowl for water and a bowl for paddy rice grain inside her cage, and it's really a very bigger size cage for her, only for her, and to move around and everything. So every day morning around 6 o'clock she wants to have a breakfast, and if there is no water or that paddy rice in her cage ready, you will hear her squawking. You don't want to start your day with the bird squawking like that, especially the hungry bird. So she squawk like anything. So we will make sure that either before that itself I will keep everything ready, or in the previous night itself we will fill it up everything. And by 7:30 to 8 o'clock she has a structure. If we didn't leave the cage open for her to get out, she will again make that noise, but not in that hungry way. So we will keep our cage around 8 o'clock, 7:30, we will open it, and she just come out of the cage. She climb up on the rope, the cage was hanging the tie to it. For a while, that's her style. She just go up there and then get down, just drop down, filled out, and then she started walking. Because we made sure her her wings are not too long and not too short, because we used to have a ceiling fan, so it's not usually the birds are going to be inside the home. It's not wise to have the ceiling fan, but we do have, so we made sure her wings is not too short and not too long. And so she just dropped down and she walks past those verandas and everything, and then she just walk underneath that long sofa. She walk underneath. She crossed that heavy traffic area in our home where we were walking and going and moving around. So many activities will go. She walked that heavy area and past that one traffic, and then she'll climb up to the chair, which is always there. She'll climb up to the chair, on top of the chair, and from there she just jumped fly to the other shelf, that steel Biro kind of style of shelf. She just used her claws and peak. She used this action like itsy bitsy spider like that. She just climbed up, down, moving her body and everything, moving her tail and everything. It's so beautiful to see. She just go up. Once she reached that shelf, she won't stop there. And from there, we got a huge mirror. And that mirror is not fixed to the wall. It's just kind of leaning towards us and tight. So she just go again, climb up to that, and she will be on top of that, which is very, very close to the ceiling. And from there, she watches everyone until when she wants to get down. And when she was hungry, she's ready to go back to her cage, get the water, get the drink, gains everything. And we have to, every day, we have to, often the whole day, we have to, no matter what, whether she won't come and trouble us at all. But we have to make sure, oh, Shakti, are you eating? Oh, Shakti, where are you? So we have to keep on constantly say her name, making sure that she is there. Oh, she's there. Okay, she's there. And if we, especially since that is our family room and we have a dining room and everything in that room itself. So she knows what we are eating. She never come and troubled where we are eating unless we didn't notice her. If we notice, if we didn't give her an attention like, oh, where is Shakti? And if we didn't do anything and without that, if we try to take a tumbler or a plate and try to eat or drink, she will come down, she'll give a peck on her foot or peck on her finger and make sure, hey, you didn't invite me to eat or you didn't let me know that you're going to eat. This is kind of a style doing it, making sure that she don't ask us, she don't need this food, but still she just wants that she's present. So then we have to say hi to her and talk to her like that. This is something her style doing it. And then whenever I sing in a joy or a pain, she squeak. She squawk. So it's not squeak. She squawk. She make that bird sound. And then there are times I pray out loud and she knows if I am praying it loud or saying something loud, and if that is something related to that I do not have to worry about it, then she knows it. When I pray it loud for something, and if that is something that I really don't have to worry about it, somehow she knows it and she makes that squawking sound to make me stop or distract. Because I noticed the pattern, and whenever I did that, and after a few months or days, I realized that, for this, why did I worry so much? Why I think of like that? And then I remember the time I prayed and she made that squawking sound. So she's kind of a signaling, hey Reshma, don't worry. It's just nothing. It's just a phase. It will go. So I kind of got that feeling. And when I was seriously praying, she never squawked. And those are the times like I noticed, like, oh, okay, maybe she's listening. She's praying with me. So that kind of a thing she did. And there are times I just sit down in that sofa quietly, not anything expressing with my words or anything, but just sit down quietly and thinking about the person, thinking about my mom and my friend whom I lost in that time, whom I lost them, and thinking about them in that time. She just come to me and sit next to me. She don't squawk. She don't pick on my foot or my finger, and she makes this hard bite sometime on their shoulder also. She do nothing. She just simply sit, and she gave me that assurance that she's there, she's understand, or she's listening, or like, hey, I don't know what it is going on, something I think you're in pain. Let me sit next to you. So that kind of feeling she often gave me, like as though she understands what I'm going through, like that. So Shakti is mine, and she is very social to all our family members. And since I was alone most of the time at home and with her, so we had this strong bonding were going on. In addition to it, she's very social, very kind to other family members. She was part of our family, and every one of us loved her so much. And when I'm so sorry to break your heart that she wasn't like that when she came to our home for the first time. She was very, very angry, and like she bite everyone, and it's very painful. You don't want to get bitten by the birds, especially the parrot. Their beak is so sharp. They are so angry. When they are so angry and bite, you could even have a hole in it, especially on my shoulder, on my palm, and I was bleeding so many times. She just bite my finger. Sometimes she don't even leave it. It's just hanging around. I have to really like push her away so that it's so painful and it bleeds. And she was like that, and she makes so huge mess in her cage. Very messy. She gets so angry, frustrated, even like when we lay the newspaper or anything underneath the cage, she just pull it apart. And then when she come down also, if she see any newspaper, she peck. And she seems to be very upset, and she squawk all the time, non-stop squawking. Not for breakfast or lunch or dinner, but non-stop squawking, whether she's in the cage or outside. But she is mine. Shakti is mine. I didn't get rid of her. I care for her. I forgive her because I love her. So in today's gospel, Peter is asking Jesus, how much must I forgive? As many times as 7 times. So he's asking, like he feel like as though he's like so generous. See, I'm so patient. I'm so going to be so tolerant. Can I forgive a person for 7 times? So he's like telling the Jesus that, okay, I'm going to be very tolerant person, patient person. But Jesus says, not 7 times, but 77 times. In some version of the Bible, we could say it as a 70 times 7. Sometimes we say 77 times or some 70 times 7. So no matter whether it's 77 times or 490 times, but all Jesus asking us to do is forgive always. Yeah, sometimes, Jesus is asking us to do impossible things. With my parrot, Shakti, actually she don't deserve my love. She don't deserve my family, kind family. We were so much of taking care and those attention. Actually, when we think about it, she don't deserve all that. But though we don't deserve God's care, but God cares for us. He forgives us because God loves us so much. He loves us, and He is calling us to be an example of peace. In the parable of unmerciful servant, we see a servant who owes huge amount of money was forgiven by his master. This servant found one of his fellow servants who owed him a much smaller amount. He demanded him to pay. When that guy begged for more time, he put him in prison. Now, when his fellow servants saw what happened, they were deeply disturbed and went to their master and reported. His master summoned him and said to him, "You wicked servant, I forgave you your entire debt because you begged me to. Should you not have had pity on your fellow servant as I had pity on you?" This servant's huge debt is cleared. He received mercy, and he should be reaching out to forgive his servant's debt, or at least be patient, kind, caring, and helpful to him. But he failed to do all that. We often hear our elders say, like, if we are good to everyone, and they will be good to us. Actually, it's not like that all the time. Jesus is most merciful human that walked on earth, and what we did to him. So mercy is not necessarily returned. If we are merciful to others, God is merciful to us. That is for sure. We can accept mercy only when we love and respect the person who showed mercy on us. And that way we are ready to share that mercy with others. God is not only watching if we do mercy, He is also watching our attitude while we giving mercy to others. So remember, forgiveness and being merciful is not an emotion. It is not an absence of anger. It is not forgetting. And more importantly, it is not disregarding or excusing the cruelty and injustice. So it is a decision to treat the offender with respect. So merciful is doing something good to a person who is in need with no ulterior or selfish motive. Thus, forgiveness and merciful will help us to move forward. Jesus welcomes every one of us and He forgives our sins. He forgives our wrong thoughts and wrong actions. In return, we will be merciful to all. Thank you so much for watching today's video. You like this video, give thumbs up, share this video with your friends and family, subscribe to Indian Catholic Ministry YouTube channel.